Okay, gang, here we are with part 2 of creating a categorized percentage gradebook. Creating a gradebook using categories and percents. All right, we've already talked about creating columns, and this is your first grade column. Now we're going to talk about how you end up with a marking period grade using those percents that we've set up. Remember, we created our grading periods, we created our grading schema, which was already given, and we set up our categories. So now we're going to create a calculated column. In this case, it will be a weighted column. I'm waiting for it to open. All right, so this will be marking period 1, and I'm going to put weighted, just so we know, grade. I will scroll down and pretty much leave everything here except grading period. This is all going to be, nope, I'm sorry, no grading period because it's all part of grading period 1. Right, and I use, and I know these because they're my caps, these items. I also use test and homework and projects. Now I held down control to select more than one that weren't consecutive. I could click and drag if they were consecutive. And then once I've selected my categories, I move them over to the right. Now as you can see, I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 categories, 5 categories on the right, and now I'm going to tell them how much each category is worth. My labs are worth 10%, and I only want the ones in marking period 1, and that's because we're only doing a marking period 1 grade. My tests are worth 30%, again marking period 1. My homework is worth 25%. Oops, almost forgot marking period 1. My projects are worth 35%. Oh, better not do that. 25%. And I'm just putting it in that you put whatever your percentages are for whatever categories you use. And that leaves 10% for my quizzes. And marking period 1. Notice the bottom, the total weighted, has to be 100%, please. If it's not, it'll let you do it, but it won't work out like you want until you go back. If you do not have, let's say for example, this marking period you didn't have any tests, you can do it based on whatever percentage it was minus the test, that 30%. So what it would do, it would take 70% and it would equal that to 100% of the grade. So it would just set up a ratio, 70% of whatever you had was equal to 100% of what it should have been. So it works, and it comes out good. It just doesn't always make a lot of sense for some people. So now that I've got that done, I am ready to submit. And now every time I put in a grade, it will change my weighted grade based on what category it's in and the percentage that I set up. The other thing you might want to do is to set up a average column. Okay, to do that, for example, I want to show the average of all the projects. So I can create an average column. I'm going to call this projects average. Okay, I'm going to put this as marking period 1 because I only want to do it. You could do it a running total, but I'm just going to do it in marking period 1. And I'm going to tell it to take all the grade columns and selected columns and categories. Okay, I'm going to say take only the projects category in marking period 1. So what it will do now is it will basically keep a running average of all the projects in marking period 1. There you go. So now as I put in grades for my first graded item, it will, if that first grading item was a project, it will show you what the average of the project is, and it will give you a marking period 1 weighted grade based on the percentage that you told it. I hope this makes sense. I think you'll find that it's very powerful, flexible, and easy to adjust and make it whatever you want it to be. If you have any questions, please contact your ITRT. Thank you.